So welcome back to Outdoors with the Morgans. Before we get started, I need to tell you a little story and show you something that I just love. So check this out. I had a problem and we discovered a solution. This is one of the cameras that I use. I have a couple of these GoPro. That's the 11. This is the DJI wireless mic. They work fantastic. This little case right here works as a charger. The microphones, they fit right in there. The receiver goes in there. Here's the receiver on the side of the camera. Now there is a weak link to this setup, and that is the cold shoe. I think that's what they call it. I don't know why, but a cold shoe that mounts the receiver to the camera. And this is the one that came with it, okay? I kind of have it pushed back together, but it's broken. I don't know if you can see that, but the receiver slides on this piece, and this piece slides onto the camera, but it's broken, okay? It just kind of comes apart. So I thought, you know what, I need to get some of those. So I looked online. I couldn't find any. So I told Levi, I said, hey, can you see if you can find some of these online? And he was having trouble finding them. You would think something as fragile as this, you know, you could buy them by the dozen, but we couldn't find them until Levi went to Etsy, of all places. I think it was my first purchase ever on Etsy. And some guy makes these. And they came in a 4-pack and they actually work better than the originals. So he 3D prints these. And I love stuff like this because the guy was probably going through the same thing I was. And he's like, well, heck, I can just 3D print one of those. And then he's like, I could probably sell them. So now he's selling them out of his house, but they work good. So I've got this one and 3 spares. I love stuff like that, where someone discovers a need and they come up with a solution. And now he's probably running a little side business, making them and shipping them all over the place. But you know what I don't love is a toothache. Can you see the side of my face is all swollen up? I gotta tell you a story. So a while back, I broke a tooth on the bottom towards the back on popcorn, like a popcorn seed. And I thought it was just like the corner of the tooth and it wasn't bothering me at all. So like most men, I didn't do anything about it because it didn't hurt. Well, it started to bother me, you know, when you drink cold drinks and things like that. So I went to the dentist and they checked it out and they said, yeah, you have to get a root canal. And not the end of the world. I don't like going to the dentist, but I'm not afraid of getting a root canal. And so we had that scheduled, and she said there's a little bit of infection in the tooth, and to take some antibiotics. She called in the prescription, and I was supposed to take them to get the infection out before I had the root canal done. I said, okay. Well, the next day, the tooth felt fine, like no problem at all. And I don't like taking anything just because, right? So I didn't take the antibiotics. And so we were getting closer to when the root canal was supposed to be done. And the other day, that tooth started hurting bad, okay? So I'm like, wow, better take the antibiotics now, which I did. And the next morning, which was today, this whole side of my face, I slept on that side last night, down here in the bottom, because it's the lower tooth in the back. My cheek was all swelled up. It's a lot better now than it was this morning, and it doesn't hurt anymore. But yeah, I should have taken them before, so now I gotta wait a few more days before I can get the root canal. It's just a whole thing. That's the problem. I slept too. I sleep on my side, on that side of my head. Man, I woke up this morning, it was way bigger than what it is now, but it, feeling better, but I got to get it taken care of. But anyway, just wanted to explain that, why there's a big thing here. But anyway, enough about that. We need to focus on the little clearing project here. The end is near. I still have a lot of work to do, but I think between this afternoon, this evening, and maybe tomorrow, if it doesn't rain, I should have this pretty well knocked out. But I love how the center just burns right out of this. Now all I need to do is get on the excavator, grab this stuff, put it back in the middle, and this will all go away. So I mentioned the other day that it's a lot of work clearing land like this. I probably don't even have an acre done. Probably have about 45, maybe even 50 hours wrapped up in this little section right here, but that's digging all the stumps, burning all the brush. Some of that includes cutting a bunch of firewood, but it is very time consuming. And I'm gonna hop in the machine, tell you a story about something I saw the other day. So the other day, I was on the internet, and I went to this tractor forum. I don't visit that site very often. It's a real big forum though. There's thousands of people always commenting on there. And one guy in particular, he mentioned that he bought 300 acres of property and he wanted to clear 150 acres. And what was he going to need to do that? But he didn't, you know, he didn't show any pictures. He didn't describe what the trees were like, what the terrain was. So you don't know if it was like just an overgrown field that maybe you could take care of with a forestry mower or something like that, or if it was big woods, or you had no idea. Well, even though you had no idea, there's like 75 comments from people explaining how to do it. And you know, I always say I don't care what anybody does or says, but I'm reading through this stuff and I'm like, these people, they don't realize like how much work is involved in clearing land and what it costs. Now some of the people were spot on. They're like, sounds like you need, you know, a professional clearing crew. And I think they're probably right if there's any size trees at all on the property. There were people saying, you know, find a logging company and you could trade them, you know, trade them the timber for digging out all the stumps and cleaning up all the brush. That's never going to happen. I mean, if you know of a company that does something like that, let me know quick, because they'll be out of business very soon. There's value in trees, there's no doubt about it, but everything that you do, every time you touch it, from cutting it off the stump, to hauling it, to sawing it, to drying it, everything adds to it. And as far as just trees in the woods, they got to be pretty special and have a lot of them to be worth something. But yeah, 150 acres, I'm like, even at the pace that I'm moving at right here, which, you know, I come out here at my leisure, but I've got a skid loader, a big one, a mini excavator, decent sized one, 40 or 50 hours in an acre, you're looking at 100 and half a year. Like 40 hours a week. Take you at least 6 months. It'd take longer than that, just dealing with all the stumps and everything. I think that's why I don't visit the forums too often. Alright, that should get going. We're going to go over the other side here and dig some big stumps out. Oh yeah, she's burning up the middle. Pretty soon I'm going to be out of fuel for that fire. So this is the stump that I'm after right now. Big maple. I am not a fan of the maple stumps at all. They take a little bit of time. We'll move this tree out of the way, come in here, and I'm just going to dig all around it before I even pull on it. That one was, that was pretty stubborn right there. That took some time. That took longer than the big red oak stump I did the other day. Got a big hole here to fill in. Things are shaping up pretty well. I got most of the roots and the debris out of there. It needs graded up, tracked in where those real big stumps were. Sometimes the tricky part is getting the topsoil to stay on top, because some of those holes are so deep, you're bringing up some shale or some clay, and you want that in the bottom and the topsoil back on top. But I have a big pile of debris right there. What I'll do tomorrow is kind of reach in there with the excavator and just pull roots out. That's why I put it right there. I can grab them out of there, swing it right into the fire. I'll get some soil out of there, and then what's left will go to my stump pile. But I had a little breakdown, I guess you could say. No big deal. But I busted a hydraulic line. Actually, I think a fitting on the skid loader. Happened probably when I was raking. You're pulling all that debris back with you. This is the cylinder for the quick hitch, and right underneath there, yeah, there's where it broke off right there. It'll be an easy fix. I'll take that out. This line right here goes down. Take this plate off here, and there's a steel line right here. So the hose is probably only 3 feet long. Yeah, I think that's what happened. I jammed a stick up in there and broke that off. I'm okay as long as I don't try taking the grapple off, because if I hit that button in there, there's gonna be a lot of oil come out of there. Alright, I went and got a new hose made. Brand new everything. I spared no expense. Actually, it wasn't my choice. They don't like to, they won't actually, like, crimp new fittings on an old hose. Someone probably got sued at one point or another. 42 bucks. I was having a little bit of trouble getting this hose holder on, so I lifted the boom up, tilted it out some, and I can get to it a lot easier. But that is one of the many benefits right there of having a door that folds up. Most skid loaders, the door opens out, you can't lift the boom up at all, and it just wouldn't work. All right, I think I'm good to go. I'm gonna climb back into cab and work it a few times, up and down, back and forth. Make sure nothing's pinching or binding and that there's no leaks. So this button right here is for the hydraulic quick coupler. I'm going to work it a couple times, make sure there's no leaks. That's the other thing I didn't factor in. I think I'm okay though. I got to check something here. Yeah, so what I should do is loosen that holder on that side and give it just a little bit more room, because when you open that up, that cylinder extends that way, pulling it kind of tight. I'm glad I caught that. Wouldn't that have stunk? Replace one hose and bust them both as soon as I run it. That'll do her. Good to go. All right, I am back out here in the woods this evening, and it's a beautiful night right now, but I just checked the weather, and it looks like in about an hour and a half or 2 hours, we're gonna get a strong line of storms that pass through. So I'm gonna get as much done as I can in the next hour or two, and then I'm gonna take the excavator and the skid loader. I think Melissa's gonna come out in a bit. She can take it back. And we're going to kind of wrap this up out here for now. And then all of our focus, well, not all of it, but a lot of our focus will be on the cabin in West Virginia, getting ready for the shower house and a whole bunch of other stuff down there. But yeah, I got this looking pretty good out here. I'm pretty happy with it. I'll be able to expand later on, but getting things shaped up. What I'd like to do before it rains is get what's left of that burn pile back on the hot coals. I've got 7 or 8 stumps laying around, get them down to the stump pile. And once I do that, I'll put the bucket on the skid loader and kind of grade this up so when it does rain real hard, we don't have any water holes. Plus, there's one other thing I'd like to do. I got to show you this down here before I get started. So when I come back out here, I'll kind of continue on this direction. But this one big maple that blew down in that windstorm, whew, I cut her off the stump the other day, and I knew what was going to happen. And man, it flopped right back in the hole. It's a pretty big maple. The top of that cherry's broke out right there, and that's kind of wedged right in there. I'd like to try to get that maple out of there. There's a cherry right here, another cherry. But yeah, this is a giant root ball, and I cut from that side over there because these 2 cherries you see, they were up in the air about this high, resting across the root ball. So I got her cut off, and everything just went plop back in the hole. It's trying to go. So the inspector just came out to check on things. What do you think?
Looking good. Yeah. It's incredible how open and bigger it looks.
Yeah. I was telling Melissa last night when I was out here over by the house.
Oh, yeah.
Nice buck. I mean, I know they're in velvet and they look bigger, but
yeah.
It was out past its ears.
Yeah.
Nice high rack, at least 8,
yeah.
Probably a 10 point.
Well, I think I seen the same buck like 3 weeks before that.
Down by my mom's?
I do, yeah. The way you described it, and yeah, seems to be the very same one. But it would be great if there were 2 that were like brothers.
I know.
Brothers.
So,
you know, there's a bunch of tiny little bugs. They're like little gnats.
They don't bother me.
Well, they're not biting me, but I can feel them like landing on me and swarming around me. Is it just because the dirt's dug up, or?
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, okay.
I don't know, Melissa, you know? So the other day, you mentioned about Axel chewing up my license.
Yeah.
There's a lot of comments on that video saying that he's just looking for attention. He got attention.
He did. He got a lot of attention. Maybe he wants to drive. Maybe he wants to get a driver's license because he got a lot of attention. You know, kids act up when they want attention. So.
Tell him what happened today with Eva.
Oh dear. Eva had this brilliant idea, which was a great idea, to take all 3 dogs to get pup cups. And she picked up her friend. She took all 3 dogs, picked up her friend. Her friend sat in the back with 2 of them. Archie sat in the front. They went and got pup cups. They had fun, but they also went to Chick-fil-A, and Chick-fil-A gave them another dog treat, which should have happened. And she dropped her friend off, and she came home. And as she was pulling in the driveway, Axel threw up in her Jeep. The poor kid, poor dog. He's getting a bad name for himself.
Yeah, he had an empty stomach and he ate some food that he doesn't normally eat.
Oh yeah, he never has a pup cup, and he never gets a treat from Chick-fil-A.
Yeah.
But I think Eva learned.
When Eva came home, Levi and I were in the building, and we came out to see how everything went, and she got out of the Jeep, and Melissa's standing there. She's like, Axel threw up, and we just like turn around, walk back.
Yeah, they can't handle it. Eva was like, I just got my lunch and I haven't even eaten. If I have to clean that up, I'm like, fine. Go eat your lunch. I'll clean it up. You know, that's being a mom.
Yep. I just noticed your shirt.
Yeah.
Where'd you get that at?
At the secondhand store. So maybe one of you own this shirt. Guess what? I just bought it for like $3.
So it's one of my favorite movies of all time. You're Killing Me, Smalls. Sandlot.
Yeah, it's a great movie. If you haven't seen it, you need to rent it or
yeah, it is probably
watch it.
Definitely in the top 3 of my favorite.
Oh yeah. You know, another one I want to see is What About Bob?
That was a great one too.
Good movie. Really good movie. Take a vacation from your problems. That line is from that movie.
Yeah, when I came out here, I said, I mean, just in the last hour, it was not a cloud in the sky. I think I got about 45 minutes. So what I'm going to do, you have the SideKick out here. I'll take the excavator back.
Okay.
And then I'll come back and get the skid loader. I'm going to leave the grapple out here, kind of grade things up before I leave.
Okay.
And then that'll probably be it out here for a little while at least.
Yeah, we're going to get some storms, and all this dirt might be mud, Mike.
I won't be out here for it.
You know what? Mike Morgan does not like mud.
No.
I'll bring out the quad and run it through the mud.
Rip around.
That would be fun.
Well, that is pretty good timing. I hear the thunder off in the distance. I think it's going to be raining pretty hard here very soon. I'm not sure if my fire is going to get going or not, but if not, we'll get her next time. I got that graded up over there where I took out those stumps, tracked it in a little bit. Once I get all this done, I'll bring a tractor out here with a rake up any roots that are on the surface, maybe even hit this all with a land plane. I got more work to do, but we're calling it good for now. Like I said, our focus is going to be West Virginia, because like I always say, as soon as the 4th of July is over, you like blink and it's fall. But anyway, I think that's it for today's video. I appreciate y'all being here, and I will catch you on the next one.